Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode at the Feminine Space Podcast. I'm Natasha, and we're with Cindy for the last episode here with us. But don't worry, because at the end, we're going to be telling you all about how you can keep in touch with Cindy and the deeper work that we're actually preparing for you, so you can keep going with us. So Cindy and we did so many podcasts together and fireside chats all together, and we were thinking about what is this all for, right? We're each on our own journeys, and maybe you're tuning in and listening to this podcast, and perhaps you've heard of things that feels relevant for you at the moment, or maybe it's something you're exactly going through right now. However it makes sense to you or however it integrates into your life, we kind of want to spread it further, expand this topic of what exactly are we here to do. And if this podcast or all the episodes we've held for you and had this wonderful conversation that we've shared with you, and maybe you felt like you were in the room with us, what does it all mean? And how does that actually connect to our work? So if the podcast feels really good for you, what does it mean to actually go see a psychotherapist? What does it mean when we reach out and ask for help and see a coach? Does it mean that we have a greater problem that this podcast will never solve for us? Or does it mean that we're just looking for someone who, can help us along in this journey, and like back in the day, the guidance of elders or something that's just so normal, yet we sometimes forget today or nowadays. So Cindy, here's over to you.
Hi, Natasha. Hi, everybody. This has just been such a wonderful little journey for us, is to sit here once a week and chat just about life and about growth and evolution. And, the work that I've been doing for all of these years is really about transformation. It's really about helping people to evolve to the highest being that they can become. And it's not about having something wrong. We're all just on this journey. We're all just trying to figure it out. And a guide can just shine a light in a dark place. And, we all have dark rooms in our souls and our beings that we just haven't seen yet. And if somebody shines a light in that room and illuminates it, then we can walk in that room and take it on and just grow and evolve in a much bigger way. There has been throughout history, I think through the beginning of mankind, there have always been helpers. There's been the wise ones, there's been elders, there's been shamans. There is like the mythic hero's journey. And that's really what we've been doing. We've been talking about the story of the hero's journey, where you walk through life and different things come towards you, some challenges, and you don't always know how to move through those challenges. And sometimes, well, always, there is a guide. There is a mentor. There is somebody there, a wise one, a wise wizard. There's always someone there that can help us through these challenges, and we can learn from them and evolve into these ever higher levels. And that's what the hero's journey is about. And that's how I love to look at each of our journeys, including my own, and move through life. And I've had tons of challenges in my life, and tons of holes in my being, and I've had to look really deeply inside myself. And I encourage everyone to look deeply inside themselves. The beauty of that is that you get to grow and evolve in a way that really, quite frankly, not everyone does. I mean, we do, and probably all the people that are attracted to this podcast, we're all people who want more, who want deeper meaning, greater purpose, a more fulfilled and meaningful life. That's why we collect together. But not everybody does that. Lots of people just go on into their lives and they just accept whatever's there. But I love to liken my work as being a midwife to people's souls. And it really is just really helping people to give birth again to themselves in a new way, in a whole way. And I am nothing other than a midwife. We all have what we need inside of us. But like the dark room, sometimes we just can't see it, and we need somebody else to believe in us first so that we can believe in ourselves. We need somebody to show us some of the things that we can't see on our own. And that's the beauty of this work, is that you can be a midwife to a beautiful new soul, and help people and encourage people to continue on their journey.
I feel like throughout so many of our conversations, we've brought up a lot of teachers, or we've used stories or metaphors from nature and from Rumi and Sufism, and also from Buddhism and from the concepts within mindfulness. It goes on and on and on. And also from your own personal life, Cindy, of how the very first episode we did of where you started and all the career changes you've made so far, and also for me, all the bumps along the road and all the challenges that I've faced so far. So sometimes I feel like when I'm reading a book and I'm really inspired by certain ideas from Rumi, or from the stories that you tell me, on these different episodes, I'm inspired and I see things in a deeper way, and I feel the wisdom that is already there. And I feel that within our work, it's really no different, except that when we guide someone, or we're really there to support some other soul within the room with us, another being, then we're actually helping them find that wisdom within themselves. So we may not be, reading a book here and being inspired on a page from someone's words long, long time ago, right? But we might be inspired by ourselves being there in that moment and having a certain experience or insight. And I think that's really beautiful, because at least for me, I feel that I sometimes can be very distracted and very focused on the outside because there's so much going on. And we definitely focus on this topic back, then about how do we come back to ourselves? How do we not get distracted? How do we know what's actually important for ourselves in this moment? And I know that I can get lost a bit and get really caught up on what's going on in the outside. But you actually have someone in the room to be with you and to be present with you and focus on you. That changes a lot, because that focus starts to go inward. It doesn't mean that, we're revealing things that we're creating something. No, we're actually revealing parts of ourselves that we wouldn't otherwise put the attention to or the awareness to, and actually feel that.
I think that what you're saying is really important, to take some time in the very beginning and focus on yourself. We are taught not to be selfish and to be selfless. And though that is true, you can't really get to that point until you have your own self-acceptance, your own love of self, and your own way of really valuing yourself, allowing yourself to feel worthwhile. And that requires some time and attention to the self. And it's so important, because until you do that, you can't actually really go out into the world and give, because the giving doesn't come from a clean and clear place then. So that attention to self, that exploration of the self, exploration of the past, it's really about discovering your own life story. And I have an article that I'm writing now called Your Story is Your Superpower. And I really believe that, because every story is unique. And I think we talked about this in the past, actually, about snowflakes and the uniqueness, and yet we are all still connected. But every story, every life is unique. And when we understand our own stories and really delve in and understand how it's created us, what are the ways that it stopped us, but maybe even more important, what are the wisdom? What are the learning that we have, that we can take from every experience that we don't like and that we thought was negative and that we hated and we wished we hadn't had? But there is genuine wisdom in those moments. How do we take that and incorporate it inside and find the self-worth that we need in order to go out into this world and be all of who we can be, to really achieve our destiny, if there is such a thing as destiny? I don't know. I kind of think so, and I'm not always sure. But to be all of who we can be, we need to truly understand our story and take that superpower from it.
I feel like that superpower, at least how I'm seeing it more and more now, is actually just to be the uniqueness who you are, that is within you already, and not to pretend like someone else, try to imitate someone else. And I feel that, at least for your genius, Cindy, the story has to come from within you. It's not, perhaps you're inspired by all your experiences and maybe this idea of another writer, and then your Qigong master here, and but you're in the end bringing in your message, your story, your words, your feelings and experiences, and channeling that into a book or into a masterpiece or into work. And I think that is something that no one else can replace. So in a way, it's our very, very, very special superpower.
Oh, absolutely it is. And we all resonate with different people and different things. And that's why we're all so unique. And that's the wonderful thing, is I might resonate to that writing or that work, and you might resonate to the same one and to others. And I do believe that like minds resonate and attract each other and connect and come together. And that's the wonderful thing. And when you are really, truly in touch with all of who you are, not even all of who you are, because I think that's a lifetime journey. And I think, there's so much pressure to be perfect and to be great and, to have gone through all your crap and, become everything that you can be. There's a lot of pressure to do that, and I don't want to add to that.
Yep.
I think we're all on this journey. It is a lifetime. I know a little bit of who I am and where I've come from. And I know that there's a whole bunch more. And I've been doing this for decades and working with people for decades and helping them. There's just so much more. And I don't want people to get caught up, and I don't want me to get caught up in that sense of, we have to have everything together now. The journey is actually the joy. Yeah. The exploration, the transformation, the evolution, that is the joyful part. In fact, I had an email from a friend yesterday who's very, very super successful. He's been running around the world getting standing ovations and accolades and everything. And he wrote to me and he said, I'm kind of feeling restless. And so we had this very long conversation, because really what was happening is he'd already achieved so much, pushed through so many challenges, and he's also, much older. So he's like, okay, what's left for me now? And we don't want to get to that. We want to really enjoy these moments of evolution and every problem. That's where I believe that true acceptance, the idea of acceptance, is, and getting into the flow. In order to get into the flow, you need to have acceptance.
Really beautiful. At the moment, what I'm going through, if I can share on my own podcast, is that I'm working with a business coach, and she's being very gutsy lately as she taps into her vision of next year and what she wants. And she started to share and reflect how whenever something got difficult in her life, or she felt like life was challenging her to take it to the next step. So maybe not everyone listening, me included, you included, Cindy, are at that stage of your friend where they're looking like, okay, well, what else is there to do? I feel like I've done everything, right? Maybe we feel like we're at the first few steps of the staircase. And with each step, each change, each transformation, each new opportunities that seems crazy, seems different, seems new to us, if it might feel like the ground is a bit shaky, like where are we going from here, and how can I really do it? And we're faced with this new opportunity and this invitation all the time from life, from work, from our partners everywhere, to kind of up level, to hey, try this, try that, keep on going, move in this direction, move forward, and keep being and living this life out. And she said that sometimes in those moments, even though they feel like they're the hardest, they're the toughest ones, those are the times where we want to give up. We want to say, no, let's just stay within this comfort zone. Let's stay on this level where we are right now. Let's stay close to the middle so we don't get, to the edge where we can fall over or even jump higher. Let's stay where we are. And she reflected on her past year, my business coach, and she said, in fact, those were the times where she needed that support, she needed that courage, and she really needed to take that leap. So those feelings of nervousness, of excitement, of can I really do it? All these sensations, which you may identify as bad or, oh, I don't want them, they could be, in a way, telling you something is coming. Just go for it. And you're ready, and make sure that people are around you to support you to make that jump. And for me, I also feel like I'm about to take a leap on my work because I've attracted my tribe. I've been doing this podcast for more than half a year now. And I feel like, okay, it's really time to make an impact. And I'm feeling those little nibbly feelings. It's like going, okay, are you sure you're ready? Or, okay, what would that look like? But I'm ready, and I needed also this business coach's help to kind of help. It's like a ballerina. You need that jump, and you have that man or another character or another person to kind of bring you up, lift you up, and help you. You're still jumping. It's still you. But sometimes in this moment of transition and of change, we do really need that support from others and really tap into the strength not only within us, but of those who can actually help us in this moment. And boom, then we're up there. And then things will slowly calm down and maybe get back to normal for a little while.
Oh, Natty, absolutely. I think that we've come like almost a full circle in culturally, because for the longest time there was such a focus on being independent, and it's done such a disservice to all of us because we think that we have to go through things by ourselves, and that became so overlaid on our culture, that sense that independence was the great, and we need to be independent, and if we're in a marriage we need to be independent, and the sign and the is so strong. But really, we are not independent people. We are interdependent. Mm-hmm. And we may be independent, but we need to be interdependent as well, because just that's the nature of being human. And you're right, like a ballerina. I love that image. And a ballerina needs a partner to hold her up, to get to the highest heights. And there's nothing wrong in having help. In fact, we need it. And in those moments where you're doing something new, and you said that it can seem wrong. Well, those moments for me, I always get confused, and I always feel like massively confused, like I'll never figure something out. And I had a wonderful teacher in martial arts who always said to me, you want to get to the point of confusion, because when you're in the point of confusion, you're at the edge of something new. And something new you will come through. And so really appreciate and revel in that moment of confusion, because it means that things are shifting and changing. And I think that confusion is really hard for most of us. We tend to feel out of control and like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And it's a very uncomfortable feeling until you reframe it so that it's not confusion. It is that moment of new discovery. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful place. Mm-hmm. And I have a character in my novel that goes through a lot of confusion and gets these same lessons from his mentor. And I just love that lesson so much, because it helped me to get in the flow and to be much more accepting about these stages that we go through as we evolve. And getting support, having a mentor, having help in any way, it's something that is very human. It's something that we need. It's something that all of us need.
It's true. So if you're listening now, if you're listening to the replay, just know that both Cindy and I are here. I believe, doing our work as long as we can. So even if it's into a distant future and you're catching this episode, reach out to us. And Cindy, please share where people can find you, because I know that you have books coming up, your ongoing psychotherapy and hypnosis work is ongoing. So just share with us, how can people, keep following your work, all that you do, and keep building a relationship with everything that you've shared with them, and maybe even that next step, that ballerina move.
Okay, I have 2 websites that you can follow me at, also on Twitter and Facebook. But my website is www, of course, imagineinspireengage.com. And that's kind of my umbrella website. And then I have another website, cindystoneauthor.com. And both of those websites will connect to each other. I hope, if the website person can figure out how to do that, because I can't. There you can follow me, my work. There will be blogs, video blogs, articles. And also you can find my books. I'm going to offer to anybody who reads this or who listens to this podcast, my book, The Incidental Guru, which is a self-help book that I wrote a long time ago, but it has so many hidden gems like the ones that we've been talking about. And I'll offer it for $10. It retails at $18.95, and I will sign it. All you have to do is contact me on one of my websites. And it's no longer available on Amazon, I don't believe, but you can get it from me, and because it's out of print. And I have a few copies left. And my new book, Scorpion, is now available for pre-order on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Reader's Legacy. And it should be available January 17th, 2017. Mm-hmm. And it's a wonderful novel. It's so much fun. And you get all these beautiful lessons through the characters. And I love telling stories, and I think that it's a wonderful way to learn. We are all in a story. We all tell stories. We come home every day and we tell stories to our friends and our partners. Life is about telling the story so that we understand ourselves, we understand the world. It defines us. It helps us to grow and evolve and know and understand.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your own story and for sharing that book, which is actually not available anywhere. So you're in for a treat. And it's up there on my bookshelf too. So if you want your hands on that, make sure to contact Cindy at her website. Otherwise, you can dive deeper into all this work on a Udemy course that we are going to be publishing next year in 2017. So keep an eye out for that. You'll find that in the show notes. And just keep being you, and make sure that you own your story. You keep unfolding in your story. And if you ever need those characters within your own story to guide you along so that you're not alone, know that you can integrate that into your story too. So that's it for this series, Cindy. Thank you so much for being here.
So wonderful to talk to you, Natty, and you have such a beautiful way of putting things together. I love it, and I love you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was just an honor to have you. I can't wait for us to do something in person and keep collaborating and helping people and spreading what we do. So that's it. And, well, I won't be saying Cindy will be here next week, But you can follow her, keep this relationship, follow her on Twitter, read her articles, they're amazing, and let's just keep going. So that's it. So let's not forget to flow with self-love and ignite your natural power your own unique way. Ooh, no one's saying bye. Bye.
Bye. We don't want to say goodbye. We want to
know.
keep this going.
Keep in touch.